For those who grew up poor, what did you consider a luxury? Pancakes. But now as an adult, and knowing how cheap pancakes really are, I think my mom just didn't want to make them. Lol, I'm imagining your mom just saying no, we are poor for things she doesn't want to do. My mom did that. Turned out we weren't even poor. She was just cheap and a touch lazy. Going out to eat at a restaurant. And the big fancy restaurant was something like Red Lobster or Olive Garden. You got all dressed up and everything. That was us with those little Chinese buffets. Mayo. First time I went to an Olive Garden was last year actually. Brand name cereal was for the upper class, man. Every time I saw Reese's Puffs on top of the fridge, I knew tomorrow was gonna be a good day. I had those for breakfast today. New clothes. I grew up pretty poor, no TV, no toys, but had a Sears catalog. My dad got in a serious accident when I was in 4th grade and almost lost his life. He won a small settlement from the community college he was working at, and I was able to buy new clothes for the first time in my life. Before this, all I ever had were hand-me-downs from my cousin and donation clothes from the church. Most were worn to the point of having patches on the knees. The worst part about getting new clothes for the first time is I felt terrible the whole time picking out new clothes, because I always felt like a financial burden to my parents. I remember going to Miller's Outpost and picking out typical 80s clothes, OP, TNC, etc. It's funny how growing up poor affects my everyday choices, for better or worse. I'll never outgrow some of the feelings I had as a poor kid, and I feel for any kid who has to endure a childhood of poverty. It will affect them and their choices for the rest of their life. Christmas presents. I was a kid, and one year for Christmas, when I was young, before I could recognize that I was making any kind of larger point, I said that I wanted my parents to just give my presents to the kids who didn't have anything. But I didn't know that I was one of those kids. I wonder what they thought when a kid said that to them. I wonder if it hurt them or inspired them. The really important thing is relationships. The people in our lives aren't some kind of replacement for things. People are the most valuable things to us. Fuck the garbage. Don't buy anything this Christmas. Just spend it with your loved ones and genuinely express your love for them. That's the value. Things are garbage. People make a difference. Hershey's chocolate syrup. I was used to a 8 to 12 ounce glass of milk with a feather touch squeeze of drops of chocolate add when I was around 6 or 7. It will barely tinge the milk a light malt color, but that's all mom would allow. 4 years, 13 years later, my baby sister is old enough to have her vocalized demands and the like. I'm old enough to serve her while mom ignores her, but we are doing so much better financially, so we always have a bottle of syrup on hand, and she gets the big 24 ounce tumblers of milk, and I have to squeeze enough syrup out to make the chocolate dark muddy brown, or she cries I'm ripping her off. Air conditioning. Sometimes we had a jacked up old window unit that would cool down my parents' room on the hottest of summer nights, and we would sleep in sleeping bags on their floor. Sometimes it was broke. Sometimes it just wasn't hot enough to justify running it. Never during the day though. That's what the library was for. Fresh milk. Mostly we had canned milk for cereal, and if you dare, drink it. Also, beefsteak was a luxury. Until I was 13. I only had bites of steak. At 13 we were invited to a barbecue where they served top sirloin steaks, and I got my own steak. It was not until I was 16 and bought my own steak that I had steak again. Taking a bath. I mean, we bathed every night, but it was by heating up water that we would go to the park down the road to get in 5-gallon jugs and filling up a mop bucket to wash off with. Staying over at a friend or family member's house and getting to take an actual shower was amazing. Sandwich meat. I remember all too vividly getting out the bread to make a sandwich and being able only spread mustard on the bread and calling it a sandwich. Also, firewood. Growing up in a house with no heat, firewood was not only a luxury but a necessity. We'd spend the spring and summer gathering wood and slowly splitting and stacking it to burn throughout the winter. Poor planning could lead to cold mornings and a desperate search for free timber. I remember driving around in a truck looking for people that cut down a tree and put the wood on the side of the road so we could take it home and split it. Any new technology, like video game consoles, iPods, internet, cell phone, etc. New jeans, bacon, chocolate milk, string cheese, Oreos, new coloring pencils, special erasers, like the ones with the covers, going to the dentist, braces, multiple cars for a household and even just a house, not an apartment, especially the ones with enough rooms for each person to sleep in and multiple levels. People going on vacancy, or skiing, or skating, or other activities that cost money, bicycles, takeout, like McDonald's and Subway. A hot shower. Cold showers were always available, but when you scraped enough cash to get some diesel fuel and get the burner to kick on long enough to have a hot shower, man, absolutely nothing better.